Welcome, members of the press. We're here to speak to you today about the food safety issue, and we're very pleased to have with us the Undersecretary of the United States Department of Agriculture, a large serving government entity with an entire focusing goal of making sure that our consumers in America have a safe, abundant food supply. Danielle.
Hi, everybody. I'm here to talk to you about food safety. A lot of people are concerned about food safety and think that the food we eat is not safe today. This is not true. The United States has a system that monitors food production and distribution nationally, state-wise, and locally. We have many organizations, administrations, and departments that monitor food safety. One of the main ones is the World Health Organization. Their mission is to supply food and nutrition to everybody. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, which oversees domestic and imported food, they look into the safety of the additives, the coloring, the feed, and the drugs given to animals to ensure that once the animals have had it, it doesn't pass on to humans. Another group that looks out for the safety of foods is the CDC, which reports outbreaks and helps control any outbreaks of foodborne illnesses. We have the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, which regulates toxic waste to ensure that no toxic waste gets into any of the water systems and contaminates the food chains. We also have they also control pesticides and regulate the maximum pesticides that can be used. We have U.S. Customs, which makes sure that all food that's imported into the U.S. meets the U.S. standards. And we have the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which I'm in, that oversees all domestic and imported meats before, after, and during slaughter to make sure there's no illnesses and diseases within them. So with all these organizations, departments, and administrations, how can food not be safe for us to consume? There's so many different levels the food goes through to make sure that we can eat it. Any questions?
Thank you. Questions? Representing CNN, Ms. Ruthie?
I know that some people don't favor the use of pesticides, so how would, instead of using like a wide range of synthetic chemicals, what other alternatives, what other approaches?
Oh, they're not using pesticides?
Yeah.
Well, that would be like organic foods, which it's actually like that's really increasing at the moment. A lot of people are going organic, but the problem is like we cannot produce as much food, and we have a very large population at the moment, and we need to try to feed everyone. So that would be the alternative, but then we're lacking like the quantity of food.
Thank you. Other questions? Lydia, representing the ABC Evening News.
With all the regulations that you stated in your opening statement about how, say, bacteria and whatnot cannot get through to the consumer, what do you say about the times and the recalls that stuff has gone back to the consumer and killed people?
Yeah, I'm not saying there hasn't been any. There has been some, but if you look at like the amount, like compared to like the overall like population, it's so minimum. It's actually like insignificant. I know it's not insignificant because it has happened. But if you look at it like compared to how often it has happened, I don't have the exact statistics, but it's not very high.
Thank you. Further questions from the press? Representing Fox News, Ben Goldwyn.
Yeah, I was just wondering what the regulations are on imported foods. Or some regulatory policies.
I actually do not have those with me, but yeah.
Thank you. Further questions from the press? Is it a concern as we look at globalization of agriculture and as an increase of imports of fruits and vegetables, say from Mexico or other developing countries? Is there a concern in the capacity of the USDA to be able to appropriately inspect this? Are you receiving a large enough subsidy or a large enough allotment from the federal government to complete the job and task you've been given?
Yes, we've got quite a good amount of people working on it. We do. There's definitely not like stuff just being like pushed through and being like, oh, we don't have enough people regulating this, so they're just pushing through. Everything is properly regulated and made sure, because if it wasn't and something did happen, we would have major problems.
One last question from the press. Questions from the press. Yes, representing the Associated Press, Alicia Ringo.
Well, I kind of disagree with that statement because I have found research that almost 80% of our food in the U.S. is imported, and that the FDA only is able to check about 1% of it for pesticides and all of that. So, how would you, I guess, like regulate this better? Like, do you have?
Was that a reliable source you were using?
From what I saw, yes, but
Because I'm pretty positive that there's not only 1% being regulated, because pesticides are very dangerous, and if that was true, there would be a lot more incidents with people like having negative effects due to the pesticides that they were like consuming.
Thank you. Bridges, round of applause for